Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a review here for the 2021 remake of Mortal Kombat. I've had this in my backlog for a little bit. I bought it about a year ago, and I finally got around to watching it because I wanted something mindless and action-packed and bloody, and I heard this was supposed to be all of those things. Now, before I get into the review for this movie, of course, there were two original films based on Mortal Kombat. There's a couple of animated movies, too, I've never seen. I saw the original live-action movie from the 90s one time on Blu-ray years ago. I watched its sequel, and it was terrible, being notably one of the worst movies ever made and put in theaters. Most fans hate it. I myself like Mortal Kombat quite a bit. Certain games I love, my favorite being the PS2 Armageddon Mortal Kombat game. If you haven't played that, it's really cool. It's kind of a change-up, though, on what traditional Mortal Kombat is, but I really, really dig it. I love the Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe game. I had that on 360, I still do. Really cool, needs blood, but doesn't have it. I'll accept it, though, because it was fun. I need to replay that sometime. Anyway, this movie, when it came out, it was either the same weekend in 2021 or around the same time that Zack Snyder's Justice League came out during COVID. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the same weekend or same night. I don't know. But I was entirely focused on that. And so I never got around to watching this by the time my HBO Max membership let up at the time. And I didn't really feel like I missed much because it didn't really seem like people loved it. But apparently this October, which I did not know this literally until the moment after I watched this movie and heard a news source on Side Scrollers podcast talk about this, they're getting a sequel to this movie this year, 4 years after this remake, let's say, came out. And I don't know how that's possible. I don't, I'll be honest with you. As you can tell, I did not like this movie. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was fucking horrible. I thought it was awful, man. What a stinker of a movie. I don't know how anybody, fan of the game, fan of the movies, or at least maybe the animated movies, I don't know how anybody could defend this. I like action-packed, bloody martial arts stuff. This isn't even a tournament movie. And I didn't go into it knowing that. I had heard people talk about this being a letdown. No one told me that it sets up for a tournament that's not even in this fucking movie. I couldn't believe it. I was dumbfounded when I watched this the other day. So I'm about a week away since I watched it, so if I'm a little fuzzy on some things, if I get some info wrong, forgive me. It's been a super busy week. It's been busy in general, so I have a hard time of getting around to record. My wife still kind of works from home off and on, so I have to kind of work around her schedule a little bit, so I get to the reviews when I can. I've been watching Pirates of the Caribbean for weeks now, and I finally got to do the reviews. But anyway, so this movie starts off in classic Japan, right? Samurai days, let's say. I think it's like the 1600s. And that whole prologue, the way it was shot, the way the main character, who ends up becoming Scorpion, the way all of that was handled, the fights, yeah, it was very much like kung fu ninjas with wires types of filmmaking, but it was awesome. I really love that. It's easily the best part of the entire movie. And there's a man who is killed and taken to hell by his wounds that happened to him in this fight. And our big villain there is named Sub-Zero. But he's not called Sub-Zero yet. He becomes Sub-Zero, who honestly is pretty badass in the movie. One of the better parts of the film. And we cut to modern day. After that man who was killed's baby is taken away. And he's walking through hell, training over time. Hundreds of years. Basically, we cut to modern day, and there's a guy named Cole who's never been in Mortal Kombat, from what I understand, from what the hardcore fans like Jeremy Johns here on YouTube said. And Cole has a wife and a kid. He's a UFC kind of boxer type of dude as his job. And he has a birthmark that looks like the Mortal Kombat symbol. I am not fucking joking. And it turns out Earth is about to have a tournament, eventually, in the next fucking movie, 4 years down the road, aka 2025. All of the fighters that he has to meet up with and he's recruited with have the same birthmark. Does it sound fucking stupid to you yet? Okay, we got a long way to go. Cole, who's never been in these games or anything, will eventually have his own abilities involving I don't want to say a costume, but it looks like there's a particular thing people used to get, and people have joked about this a lot since this movie came out. I didn't realize how real it was. When you go to like Spirit Halloween stores and stuff, and you see like the Popeye-looking bodysuit for children that has like the tattoos up the arms and stuff, like sleeve tattoos, that's what his particular ability looks like when he finally unlocks it in the movie. It is awful. It just continuously makes the movie worse and worse. Johnny Cage is not in the film at all. He's teased for the next movie. Turns out Carl Urban's going to play him, which I'm excited for. I think there's a good chance that movie, being an actual tournament movie, will be way better than this. But there is a war between Earth and whatever this other fucking dimension is, and the big war that's about to happen, the big tournament that could destroy the entire Earth's existence if they lose again. And so far, it ain't looking too good for them. There's a lot of Mortal Kombat classic characters that show up in here and then are fucking killed. And I'm assuming they will be resurrected in the tournament arc. I call it an arc like it's an anime or a manga. Maybe it will be. Maybe it'll become that. I don't know. So I'm not thrilled already with how that went, because it feels like at that point the stakes don't matter, in my opinion. At least the Earth characters it might, but not so much with like the bad guys, if you will. Now, the different people that Cole meets on this journey, who also have the birthmarks and stuff, they are cast decently, I would say. For example, Liu Kang is in the movie. Really like the guy playing him. I wish he was a little bit more muscular, but I'm cool with the person they picked, his size. I actually thought that he was done well. I wish he had been the main character. I thought for sure Cole was going to, and from what I understand, a lot of fans thought Cole was going to be Liu Kang. Apparently not. But then you have like this one chick, Sonya, which I don't remember her from the games. Maybe I'm dumb. Probably am. Sonya was a babe in this movie. I liked her a lot, but she was a pretty solid actress too, sometimes. Then you had a guy named Jax, played by this embarrassingly bad actor. I mean, embarrassingly bad, dude. Jax, as everybody knows, loses his arms, and like every adaptation that's ever been done in Mortal Kombat, he ends up having robot arms. The way they have him start having his robot arms, and they're these really tiny, frail sticks that look like they'd be the insides, the skeleton, if you will, of C-3PO's feminine ass. It's embarrassing. It is absolutely hilariously bad. And then when he upgrades and gets the big arms, it still looks like shit, and he's still a bad actor. Kind of hoping they recast him for the new movie. I don't know if they are or not, but he's bad, dude. he's embarrassing. You have one guy, what is his name? Kano, played by Josh Lawson. I don't think I know who Josh Lawson is. Kano is kind of a military dude that teams up with Cole and Sonya at first, and kind of Jax. But he's a douchebag. You know, he's a real arrogant dude. Kano is so good here. I love this actor. I think he's the best part of the film aside from Liu Kang's actor. And Sonya. But it's not because anybody else is a good actor. This guy, Josh Lawson, kills it. Seriously, he's really good as Kano. And he kind of gets converted to being a bad guy and betraying our main guys. He's really good. There's one guy in the games, I think his name is Raiden, I think. The one with the razor hat. Like the big Naruto Japanese hat that has like razor blades on it and stuff. He has some cool moments. I don't know if he's a great actor, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion. The guy that eventually, from the prologue, becomes Scorpion, when he becomes Scorpion and he gives the famous line, "Get over here," it is so bad. It's I don't even have words for it, man. You don't even know how bad it is until you cringe your way through the movie to that line towards the end. God, it's bad. Scorpion's look, I don't like either. I like Sub-Zero's look. Do not like the look for Scorpion. I think a lot of fans were cool with it, though, so maybe you'll kind of be different from me about that, but otherwise, no. There is a ton of CGI in this movie. When I had heard how bloody it was going to be, and being a 2021 film, I figured it would probably have a lot of CGI blood rather than practical effects. And it does, and the problem is that it's shitty CGI blood. Think of like that really crazy scene that was good from the first Expendables movie, when a dude gets shot in half, and it has CGI blood. That's how rough that looks. Yeah. Not a fan of that. I don't care if it's action, horror. It's kind of more acceptable in action movies than it is in horror movies for me. But it still looks like shit. I think it's not good. We're talking like Nightmare on Elm Street remake type of CGI blood. Yeah. So if that rubs you the wrong way, you might as well accept it before you go into this movie. The writing is not good. I could not give less of a shit about Cole and his stupid family. I could not give less of a shit about Scorpion and the revenge quest he is going on, mainly because that whole ball is dropped. I feel like the whole prologue that was so good and well done is so tacked on and probably a reshoot scene compared to all the other trash in this movie. Again, the bad acting for people like Jack's actor is just embarrassing. I mean, truly embarrassing. If he's in this new sequel this year, I don't know how they could save it. I really don't. I'm excited for part 2 because of the tournament stuff, the actual Mortal Kombat tournament itself. But dude, I have no interest at all in what's going on plot-wise, which doesn't really matter. You play Mortal Kombat for blood and gore and fighting. That's really the reason you play it. And that's the excuse people give to this, just like the Godzilla fans give for Godzilla movies needing to be, just to them, nothing but nonsensical, ridiculous monster fighting. And it doesn't matter plot-wise to them, but it does to me, as an actual story guy. I get it for video games why you don't need a story, and I'm cool with that, right? Like, I don't need a Smash Brothers plot. I just need Smash Brothers to be fun, right? Mortal Kombat's the same way. The movie should not be judged more than that. However, when we get to that tournament movie this year, I'm gonna need more out of it. Because that's what makes like the tournaments in like Yu Yu Hakusho's Dark Tournament, or the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi tournaments and stuff. That's what makes them so fun, is knowing these characters, loving these characters even, having the really cool tense scenes and transformations and stuff. I don't think that's going to translate well to Mortal Kombat. Not for the sequel, anyway. By the way, the only face that I recognize in this movie, out of all the actors I brought up, I forgot one. It's the bad guy from Hong Kong in Dark Knight, with long-ass hair. He's in this. Wow. He's just as bad as Jax is. And he's a good actor, in my opinion. Especially in Dark Knight. Probably his best role to me. But he's in this, and it's just embarrassing. But anyway, with all that being said, I don't like the film. I think the final act of the movie, the big fight with Scorpion, is just fucking bad, dude. There's so much terrible shit in this movie, and I was really looking forward to it. I mean that. I've been holding off on this, saving it up in the backlog, to eventually have a weekend where I just had, like, for example, I watched this over the 4th of July weekend, where I would have a mindless weekend to just sit down and enjoy something mindless. And you can say my expectations were too high because I wanted a good story. I don't think that's fair. I think this movie baits you into thinking it's going to have a decent story and tries to make up for it with terrible CGI and mostly bad actors, right? That's just my opinion. I don't really know what they could do to save it. And I kind of wished that the tournament movie was just a total reboot. Maybe it'll be a soft reboot, technically. I don't know. But Carl Urban being there tells me there could be some kind of hope for it to be better than what this piece of shit was. But needless to say, this is going right in my Goodwill Rescue Mission box, and I'll never watch this shit again. I have no reason to. It's awful. Don't even recommend it. I have no reason to recommend this to anybody. Of course I recommend the games. Of course I'm willing to check out the animated movies. Of course, I'm willing to watch the original live-action films again. This is barely better than that original sequel to the live-action movie. Just barely. It's awful. Don't waste your time, your money, nothing. Anyway, hopefully I'll be here, God willing, to talk about part 2 later this year. We'll see how it goes. But I really hope that's better. It seems like these are more based on the newer Mortal Kombat games, like Mortal Kombat X and whatever the sequel to that one was. What is that, 11? I think is what they're calling it. Anyway, that seems to be the general tone and style they're going for. But even like the fatalities and stuff in here, to me, were not satisfying. Maybe one out of the entire movie to me. But that's it, in my personal opinion. Anyway, what do you think about the film? What did you think about the originals, the animated, the games, all of that? What's your favorite Mortal Kombat game? Since I don't get to talk about this very often, let me know all that down below. Are you excited for part 2 this year? Do you think there's any chance in hell that it could be good? I really gotta know. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.